Nicolas Cage. What a guy. But no, seriously, I once thought Nicolas Cage was just a walking meme, but over the years, I grew to love the guy, which is why I was so excited to sit down for the unbearable weight of massive talent. But was it worth a watch, and is it going to be worth your time this weekend? We'll talk about it because I got some thoughts. What's going on, everyone? James here with another real review, and today we're diving into all of my spoiler-free thoughts on the unbearable weight of massive talent. A huge thank you to Lionsgate for giving me the chance to watch this early for review. Now you can see it in theaters April 22nd. It's coming out this weekend, so when you do, let me know down below in the comments if this movie is one that you loved. Did you just like it, or are you on the other side, the side that doesn't really like the unbearable weight of massive talent? I would hate to be on Nicolas Cage's bad side, but you do you. The film was directed by Gormican, and it stars Nicolas Cage, Pedro Pascal, Barinholtz, and Tiffany Haddish. Now, if you don't know much about this movie, guys, I will try to explain it the best I can. Nicolas Cage stars as Nicolas Cage in a movie about a fictional version of Nicolas Cage. Did that work? No? Okay, let's read this summary. The fictionalized version of Nicolas Cage must accept a $1 million offer to attend the birthday of a dangerous superfan played by Pedro Pascal, but when he gets there, he realizes that there's more than meets the eye. I added that last part in for dramatic effect. Now guys, before we get into my positives and negatives for this film, whether I liked it or didn't, if it is your first time here at the channel, welcome to Real James, where I love talking about movies just like this. So if you do too, go ahead and hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, tap on the bell, and hit the thumbs up button again if you are a big fan of Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal. Let me know down below your favorite movies from each actor, or just Nicolas Cage. It's up to you. Alrighty, you guys, so let's get right into my positives, and at the top of the list is this. The duo of Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal might be one of my favorite duos of the year. Seriously, I love these two. There is a bromance here like no other bromance. Over the course of the film, you start to see them both grow tighter together. Their bond is stronger, and I loved seeing this synergy between the two over time. They are great alone, but together, they make this movie. I would love to see them in a legit action or drama film, but here they really are just hilarious together, and they have one of the best sequences of the film. It was this acid trip moment. I was in tears at one point. Okay, maybe I wasn't in tears, but I was close because I was laughing pretty hard, guys. This moment just solidified the fact that both of them, I need them in movies together more often. It's just incredible stuff to see. But let's break them down individually, starting with Nicolas Cage himself. So he is basically playing himself turned up to an 11. I mean, heck, he even has conversations with a younger Nicolas Cage where they use de-aging on his face to talk about roles that he has taken and a role that he maybe wants now. It's crazy, but it's going to make Nicolas Cage fans laugh. And speaking of fans of his work, there are a lot of callbacks to his previous films and Easter eggs riddled throughout the film. Now, is it necessary to know his filmography front to back to watch this film? It's not, but it would only aid your experience if you are familiar with his films. I mean, heck, they go from Con Air to Face Off and to even some of his smaller works. But I will tell you that Nicolas Cage fans are going to be happy with this film, especially his performance. And when it comes to his counterpart here, Pedro Pascal, man, he is just totally bought in as Javi, the man who invites Nicolas Cage to his house for $1 million. So yes, on the surface, he's a super fan, but this guy has layers, and Pedro Pascal gives this character a lot of emotional beats that I definitely didn't expect, but I welcomed wholeheartedly. I honestly love this guy. I mean, I know he's been in films that aren't great, you guys, but he has never let me down with any role that he's taken. And he is acting his butt off here. There are some scenes where I genuinely forgot I was watching an action comedy, and I thought I was watching a legit drama. He just brings it here, and I am just compelled. Every time he is on screen, he just commands your attention, and I loved his role and his performance here right alongside Nicolas Cage. But hey, don't worry, I'm not forgetting about our supporting cast here. There are a couple of standouts. You have Lily Mosheen, who plays Addie, Nicolas Cage's daughter here, and Sharon Horgan as Olivia, Nicolas Cage's wife. Both of them are actually pretty darn good next to one another. They bounce jokes off of each other. I mean, of course, in the context of the film, they don't know it's funny, but we are definitely laughing as an audience. I know I was. But when you throw in Nicolas Cage, that trio is so darn good. So what I've noticed the most about the unbearable weight of massive talent is that the film takes its time in the beginning to build some relationships and give context, and then eventually we start to get pairings in this film that just make for a pretty enjoyable experience. And staying in this zone of enjoyment, guys, I loved the hilarious and effective action here. I was genuinely surprised because honestly, there are some generic tropes here that we'll talk about in just a little bit, but I felt the action, especially in the third act, was okay, and I was pleasantly surprised, and I thought, hey, this car chase scene it's good. In both acts 1 and 3, there's a formula here that just works for me. It was fun, engaging, hilarious, and the movie was completely enjoyable in these moments. Seriously, if the movie was more like acts 1 and 3, I would be pretty happy. But now, you guys, we do have to talk about some of the negatives in The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, and it starts for me with the weakest part of the film, and that is the long stretch in the second act. And you'll know what I'm talking about when you see it, but when you get to the middle point of the film, I felt that there were a lot of tropes, whether it be both in comedy and action, that just fell flat. And they really do try to hit you over the head with a lot of humor here, and to me, because they weren't landing, it just holds the film back from being great. The middle of the film simply drags. Seriously, it was at this moment that I thought, okay, I know the movie's not even 2 hours long, but it's feeling long, and that's never a good thing, especially in a comedy film like this, where it does rely on some of those punchlines to land, and they just didn't get all the way there for me in the middle. And I was also really disappointed that they underused Tiffany Haddish and Ike Barinholtz because they fed them incredibly generic and unfunny dialogue. I like both actors, you guys. Tiffany Haddish is hilarious to me, and I know Ike Barinholtz can bring it, but the way the film utilizes them both, they're CIA agents, they just give them all of those generic moments, and I was really just let down. There are maybe 1 or 2 scenes, honestly, with Tiffany Haddish where she's able to be Tiffany Haddish and deliver effective comedy, but at other times, both characters really are the product of some shaky writing. And speaking of the writing, you guys, boy is this movie meta. Now, it's meta for better and for worse, but I mean, guys, I don't know. Sometimes it's pretty effective, and honestly, it did make me laugh, but for the most part, it's pretty pedestrian by the middle of the movie. Are you catching this little trend here, the middle of the movie being where all the problems surface? Yeah, but guys, I just think the movie tries a little too hard to remind the audience that, hey, this is a Nicolas Cage movie where he plays a fictional version of himself, in which that fictional version also starred in the movies that you know. Like, it is one of those roundabout ways of trying to get the audience engaged and laughing, but I know some people will find it funny, but the writing, it gets too meta for its own good, especially at a certain point in the movie where I thought, you know what? I saw this coming. But overall, you guys, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is a movie where you shouldn't take it too seriously, and I think you'll have a blast. I know that I had fun with this film, especially in the beginning and in the end. Both acts 1 and 3 were so strong, and I was laughing quite a bit. There's zany humor, there's some grounded moments of drama and action, but for the most part, there are enough drawbacks here that make this movie go from what could be great to just okay. I got taken out of the experience when they were throwing a lot of those action tropes at the wall and some very thin dialogue with our characters. There was really thin character development at some points here where a lot of things were either very predictable, very generic, and it just didn't really add to the experience. Is it funny because they were trying to be funny, or are you laughing because you're thinking, okay, are we gonna move on now? But this movie is a must watch if you love Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal. Both of them are incredible alone, but together, again, this is one of my favorite duos of the year. And simply put, after you see this movie, if you still are not a fan of Nick Cage because you think he's a walking meme, I hope this changes your mind. I've definitely come around on Nick Cage over the past decade. I love that guy. I love Pedro Pascal, and some of the supporting actors here are good enough to make this, for me, worth a watch. So there you have it, you guys. That's my real review of The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which again hits theaters this weekend, April 22nd. If I had to rate it, it would be like a 3.5 out of 5, but hey, it is one of the more enjoyable movies of the year. So when you see the film, let me know down below if you agree with me or if you disagree with me. I want to hear your thoughts, and if you haven't already, hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, tap on the bell, and hit that thumbs up button, because guys, next week and getting into May, there's a little film. It's an indie film called Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness that's coming out, so you can bet your bottom dollar we're covering it here. Alrighty, you guys, again, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you at the next screening. And I kind of have this urge to watch a movie with Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal now. Maybe Paddington 2.